Welcome to the Midday Treat with NAZ Elite, hosted by me, Coach Ben Rosario, featuring the Hoka NAZ Elite athletes, and from time to time, a special guest from the world of running. We talk training and racing, but we also just talk, and we go way deeper than just running. The Midday Treat is your chance to get to know us as people, so follow along and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And now, check out this episode of the Midday Treat with NAZ Elite. All right, everybody, welcome to the Hoka Festival of Miles preview podcast. We are here with the meet director of the Hoka Festival of Miles, Tim Cornell. Tim, welcome.
Thanks, Ben. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I know you're super busy. We're recording this on Tuesday. The race or the meet is Thursday evening. So you are in the thick of it. How's it going?
Man, it's going awesome. We're always excited for Festival of Miles week, but it is busy. It's a busy week. So, but we've got our pro fields announced. We've got our high school fields announced. And so I feel like all the right balls are rolling in the right direction, and race night is going to be amazing as always.
That's super cool, Tim. So what I thought we would do first, because this podcast is going out to, the Hoka NAZ Elite fan base, and not all of them are familiar with this event necessarily. So I'll start by just saying, if you don't know about this event, here's what it is in a nutshell. The meet began in 2008 as a way to raise money for a young woman named Bridget Schutzman, who was in a car accident on New Year's Eve that year. She ran for St. Louis University. She was a middle distance runner, 800, 1500. And her coaches at St. Louis U at the time, John Bell and Tim Bradley, were good friends of mine and Matt's. Matt Helbig and I owned Big River Running Company. And so the four of us and our friends really got together and wanted to raise money for Bridget in a unique way. And so we didn't want to do a 5K road race. There's plenty of those. And since Bridget was a middle distance runner, we decided to do a track meet. And our thinking was, okay, we'll try to break 4 minutes in the mile, and that will bring people to the meet. We'll charge for entry, and we'll use all that money, and we'll give it to Bridget. So that was the basic thinking, and it was just going to be a 1-year deal. And we held it in April after a high school meet, so we would kind of already have a built-in fan base there. And we just did a few different events, some 100-meter dashes for kids, some kids miles, and we ended up with that men's 1 mile trying to break 4. Unfortunately, it was really cold that year, April in St. Louis. What were we thinking? And they only ran 4:08. It was really cold and windy. It was really nasty. And that was a bummer. But what wasn't a bummer is we raised $8,000 for Bridget's family. And so that was awesome. And that was going to be it. It was a one-time deal. But unfortunately, that summer, Mike Rathman, an all-state high jumper for St. Louis U High, which is where we held the meet, which is where I went to high school. They have a beautiful track, beautiful venue. Mike was in an accident that summer and was paralyzed. And so pretty much as soon as that happened, we said, oh, well, we've got to do Festival Miles for him next year in 2009. And that's what we did. And in 2009, Leo Manzano came to the men's mile and broke 4 minutes and ran 3:55. And that sort of put us on the map. And we had such a great time. The fans had a great time. We really did it up. And so then we were like, okay, well, we got to do it every year. So did it a couple more years for Mike, raised a lot of money for his family. We every year pick now a different athlete in need. We'll talk about this year's athlete in a second with you, Tim. The meet has raised, I guess now almost $100,000 all time. Do you have that number, Tim?
I don't have the all-time number, but I do know we raised a little over $18,000 last year for our athlete in need. So it keeps growing, and it's fun to hear about the history, because I was not involved at the beginning. So kind of stepping into it full grown, it's awesome to hear it recounted from somebody who was there.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And that's the charitable side of it, but from a performance side, it's been awesome. So the meet has grown and grown. We kind of try to outdo ourselves every year. it's very much based on the live experience. So we pack the stands, music the whole time, and it's 2.5 hours of nonstop action, race after race after race. The idea has always been to showcase the sport at all levels. So it's sort of a chronological schedule where we start with the little guys and gals with the kids miles, then we come onto the track for the junior high miles, then the high school races, and then the pro races, and those have grown over the years. How many sub fours on the men's side do we have now all time at this little
We're
high
about
school track?
we're about 40, in the range of 40, which is awesome, right? Like, I don't know what you guys had in mind when you first started this, but like I feel like the meet has become what you wanted it to, which is huge.
Oh yeah,
So
it's fun, you know, it's entertainment. Sports is supposed to be entertainment, and this is entertaining.
yeah, and
And
this is track and field at its best, right? Like, if anybody wants to gripe about track and field, it has to be the length of time that you have to spend to be out there and see. And we're selective about the events that we run, but it's a high excitement, high energy environment. So if you love track and field or not, you're gonna have fun at this event.
yeah, no, for sure, Tim. I I want to get into your fields for this year, which you've worked really hard to create. I know, and we've got high schoolers from 14 different states in the high school races. We've got some really fun stuff to talk about in the pro races, in the women's mile and the men's mile. So I think we'll just get into it, but I don't want to do that without addressing and talking about this year's athlete in need. So tell me a little bit about little Emma Reese.
Yeah, Emma Reese is our athlete in need this year. Emma is 2 years old and she is battling leukemia. So she's not like an athlete in need in the way that we've had it before, but Emma's dad is a track and field coach at Festus, Missouri. Festus is about 25, 30 minutes south of St. Louis. So it's really at the extremities of kind of the greater St. Louis area. Festus has had a really strong track and field history, and they've been a dynamite program over the last 10 to 15 years that they've really grown and are a true player in the distance running specifically. So Emma became a great fit for all of those reasons. Dad's a track coach. It's a program that sends kids to festival miles to race already. So we see their kids here. And so Emma was a really great logical fit. And then, it's just heartbreaking to see someone that young battling a disease, and the parents are traveling up to St. Louis where most of the medical facilities are every week. And so we felt like it was a tremendous opportunity for us to help out, to cover some of their travel costs, to cover some of the medical bills that they're incurring as they fight this years long battle. So we're doing what we can to help Emma and the family and make sure that they stay a cohesive unit through this terrible time. So we're thrilled that we can help, in spite of the tragedy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And explain how it works. How much do tickets cost, and what goes to Emma?
Yeah, so tickets are $10 a piece, and every dollar from those tickets goes to Emma and her family. And then typically we have a little bit of money left over in our budget, and so we boost it up as much as we can. But all of the profit from this race is going to go directly to Emma. Everybody who's working here is a volunteer to make this thing go. So we're passionate about high-level track and field. We're passionate about Emma, and we're excited to raise a bunch of money for her.
So if you're in the St. Louis area or the St. Louis region, your opportunity to give to Emma is to come to this meet, have an absolute blast. It's the best $10 you'll ever spend. So we'll recap that at the end on exactly when the meet starts, where it's at, et cetera. It's at St. Louis University High School, really one of the best partners you guys have.
Absolutely. St. Louis University High is the best. And I will say, if you're looking for tickets, they're on stlfestivalofmiles.com. There's also a donate button there. So if you want to do a little bit extra for Emma, go ahead and donate to her also. All of that money, again, goes directly to her: ticket sales, donations, and then whatever left over from the proceeds.
Yeah, what's cool too is if you can't come to the meet, nothing's stopping you from buying that ticket and donating.
That's right. And if you can't come to the meet, I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but it's all broadcast for free on Runner Space. So you can watch, you can donate, you can be involved, even if you're not able to be there in person.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's get into this preview, Tim. That's what we're here for.
Let's go.
So I know you kick it off with the kids miles, something we instituted right from the very beginning. The whole idea was, hey, let's get these kids out here participating, and then they can stay and watch the meet. So what have the kids miles evolved into? Who's the sponsor? Who competes? How do you sign up? All that good stuff.
Yep. So you can sign up on that same website, stlfestivalmiles.com. It's a true road race, and the kids get to start and end on the same track that the elite high school kids and the pros get to start on. So it's a really great experience. You get to be involved with all the activations that Hoka has going on. But we start them young. So if you're kindergarten through junior high, you are eligible to run in those races. And we run around the St. Louis University High campus. So you'll start on the track, do a loop around the real track, do a lap around the practice track, come right back and finish under the Hoka inflatable. Everybody gets a ribbon for finishing, and then there's Ted Drew's ice cream afterwards that you can buy and have a great time with. Children's Hospital is the sponsor for those races. We're super happy to have them involved, both from the race standpoint and from the medical standpoint. They make sure that we're well taken care of all night long.
Awesome. Awesome. So we kick it off with that. That gets things going. And what time are the kids' races?
6:30 is when those kick off.
Got it. So we do it at 6:30. And I would just briefly mention that the reason we have this thing on a Thursday is so we can have a huge crowd. I've heard that. Why didn't you have it on a Friday or Saturday? Because we don't want to go up against graduation parties and everything else. We want to be the thing. And Thursday works perfect for us. It's also right after the high school state meet in Missouri and in Illinois. So the kids are peaked and ready to go. They just take a few days easy and then they race. And so Thursday works really well. Let's talk about these elite development miles. So these are kind of a result of the elite high school miles being so good over the years that we had to get more kids involved while still staying true to that tight schedule, that super entertaining couple of hours. And what we were able to do was create these elite development miles that we don't consider them slow heats, folks. These are real races in and of themselves. In almost every postseason meet in the whole country, these would be the featured sections. And so what have these become? Who can we expect to look out for, or who should we look out for, and who's the sponsor?
Sure. So Mark Spiewak and Spiewak Training are the sponsors for our elite development miles. And like you said, like the fields are amazing. It took 4:16 on the boys side just to make that field. It took 5:09 on the girls side just to make the field. Those are kids that are absolute stars in their state. And it's amazing to be able to pit them against one another. We keep getting faster and faster every year. Those standards are about 4 and 6 seconds faster than they were last year. So kids are getting faster. Our races are getting faster. It's fun to see, and putting them under the lights together to be able to run in the Spiewak Training elite development mile is huge. It's we're happy to be able to involve in. And just to back up a quick second, our process for selecting people is a little bit different than the others. We have everybody who's interested in competing in the meet fill out an interest form. And then we wait until that interest is closed, and we take the top 30, and the top 30 qualify, and then we split them into the top 15 and then 16 through 30. So 16 through 30 are the kids who qualify for that elite development section. Then I guess backing up one section, we skipped over the junior high invites. So that's another part of the kids race. We take the top kids from the kids race and we put them on the track for a full mile also. So some of those kids, the boys side, pretty much all those middle school and junior high boys have broken 5 minutes already. All the girls are under 6 minutes, and they're the future of festival miles. So we like putting them on the track too. But the elite development miles are going to be fast again, as you can see from those seed times.
Yeah. Tell me about the top seeds on the boys and girls side in the elite development miles.
Yeah, absolutely. So the top seed on the girls side is none other than Julia Ray. She's a local kid. She goes to MICDS. She's been a stud in the state of Missouri for a couple of years, and it keeps going down from there. So Lila Janelle is from Parkway, another Missouri kid. Cami Crouch is from Narings right here in St. Louis. Caden Justice coming all the way from Colorado is there. Samantha Willette is coming from Tennessee. Those are our top 5 in the girls' elite development. So you can see that there's representation from multiple states. And gosh, it's hard. I think the elite development sections are maybe harder than any other section, because those kids are right at the top of their game, and they can race with anybody in the country. And we're telling them that they're in a different section, but we expect those elite development sections to go really, really fast. Also, jumping over to the boys side, we've got a couple other familiar names from Missourians. Ian Kamei from Rockbridge. Rockbridge is one of the local powerhouses out of Columbia, Missouri. And then Andrew Smock is right up there at the top. Also, he's from Ladue Horton Watkins in St. Louis. Wyatt Houghton from Shawnee Mission East, Kansas, has had a really good year on both the boys and girls side. They've got a ton of representation here. And then Jackson Mace Maynard coming down from Newton in Iowa is also right at the top there.
Yeah, one of the things I like about these races and the championship sections is that you're pitting all these states against one another. So all these kids that have never raced one another, so you just don't know what's going to happen. But you're also pitting, different. I'm trying to say this word and explain it. Different classes, meaning each state has class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, and they're based on school size. And so you might have a small school kid who maybe hasn't gotten to compete against some of these big school kids, or he's from a small class in a small state. So he really, or she really hasn't competed against the big boys and the big girls, if you will. And now they get a chance to kind of get drug along to these amazing times. We've seen so many personal bests at this meet over the years, because it's a combination of the competition and the atmosphere. What would you, how would this have been for you as a kid?
Golly, I'm mad that you guys didn't start this 5 years earlier, because high school Tim Cornell would have loved to run at this race. You're from Missouri, like these kids, they run through wind and rain and cold all spring, and they might get 1 or 2 chances to really pop a great time in a good field throughout. And so, we do our best to put it at night under the lights, provide the atmosphere, put pacers on the track at the appropriate paces for them to set a PR, and then we let them do the rest. I mean, these are really, really good runners. So if we set it up the way that they need to, then they're going to run fast. It's proven. So, there's not much else to say. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the junior high miles. I had that incorrectly listed on my run of show notes here, but the junior high miles have actually produced some people who have become big stars, namely the one and only Brandon Miller. So Brandon Miller, who's the NCAA indoor national champion from Texas A&M,
yep,
only
for 800 meters.
What's that?
For 800 meters.
For 800 meters. I don't know what I said there, but yeah, for 800 meters. He was a stalwart in the kids miles growing up. He would come every year and he would win the junior high mile, even as a young kid. And I think he still has the record for the junior high mile at Festival Miles. I think he ran 4:24 in 8th grade.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It's so fast.
He's unbelievable. And we've had other kids who competed in the junior high championship miles and then eventually in the high school championship. So yeah, those are awesome. It's such a big deal for these 7th and 8th grade kids to come and run in this and run in front of 2,000 people and crazy loud crowd, and it's super awesome. So we're pumped to have those races. Yeah, those lead up to the elite development miles, which we talked about. And then, if you look at the schedule, the next thing is well, technically it's the mascot 400 meter dash. So we have all these mascots from the local high schools come out and race a 400, and it's fun for the crowd. It's fun for all the kids, and they cheer for their mascot and kind of gives the volunteers a quick break before then we head into the meat of the schedule there, I guess, if you will. And we go with the high school boys and girls 800 meter runs. We have a new sponsor for that this year. Talk about that.
We do. It's none other than St. Louis's own Eric Fernandez. Eric is a financial advisor for Edward Jones now, and he's our treasurer on our board. He's been super involved with Festival Miles, and I think he was part of one of the first editions maybe of Festival
Well,
Miles, or
he
just
ran he
missed it
ran the
in high
pro
school.
mile at one point. I don't think it
That's
was
right.
one of the first editions, kind of in the middle there. But
Yeah.
he ran the pro mile, ran 403. He ran his mile PB at Festival Miles, which
Okay.
many people have.
Right. Yep. So Eric grew up in St. Louis. He ran for Arkansas in college, and I believe he ran for you at Northern Arizona Elite right afterwards, and has participated in this event at multiple levels. So he is now back as treasurer and sponsor, and we're excited to have Eric on board. He's such a fun guy, and he brings a lot of life. So having his name on those 800s means a lot to us.
The 800 is such a fun event. And again, we're looking for entertainment here. So you
Yep.
got 2 laps really fast. Talk about the fields. Who should we be looking out for?
Yeah, the fields are, I mean, I'm going to say this over and over again, but the fields are so good in every event, and the 800 is no exception. We've got a lot of representation from different states. So Dan Watke from Illinois is our top seed on the boys side. He's already run 150, and then we've got a bunch of 152 guys from Iowa, Delaware, and Kansas coming in right behind him. So he's going to get pushed, and we're going to pace him to get out fast and give those boys a shot to go ahead and break 150, which would be a huge number. On the girls' side, it's going to be an absolute dogfight. We've got a couple ladies, Deborah Mazai and Becca Heitzig, already at 209, and then a few just over 210, and Brianna Wren, Michaela Clark, who's already run faster, but not within the outdoor season this year. She won our girls 800 last year. She's run 451 for the 1600. So that's going to be a great race as well. And then I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Elise Wilmus. Her dad was the Missouri track and field coach for a long time. Rebecca Wilmus, her mom, was also the Missouri track and field coach. So she's only a freshman, but has great pedigree. And same with Josie Baker. Her parents were both fantastic college runners, and she's in that field as well. So just really good fields again. And you never know what's going to happen on race night, but we're expecting something really fast.
Yeah, those are some of the closest races typically. Really fun for the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, before we get into the championship miles on the boys and girls sides and then the pro fields, how much of an advantage it's been last year and this year having Hoka come on board as the title sponsor, and what do they give you guys in terms of recruiting tools, and what do all the kids receive who make it into the meet?
Yeah, this meet has gone to an entirely new level. It was already amazing. Hoka has just taken it up a notch. I think the first thing that you notice is just the way that it looks has vastly improved. So Hoka is well known for their design. They make beautiful shoes, they make beautiful spikes, and all the kids are going to receive those shoes and spikes along with a kit. And so racing shorts, a t-shirt, and a racing singlet to wear on race night. And so they get a ton of stuff. It's beautiful and amazing, and that's reflected in the way that the field looks, that the stands look. You'll see a ton of Hoka stuff out there. They make it look like the absolute beautiful track meet that it is. So we're incredibly thankful for their involvement.
One of the best compliments we ever received, and this is even before Hoka came on board, was from one of the top high school athletes who had been to the cross country national meet, sponsored by a different company, which we shall not name. And this athlete said, I went to that and I came to Festival Miles, and Festival Miles was a better experience. In fact, it was the best experience of my high school career.
Yep.
And that to me was everything, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create the best atmosphere we possibly can so that these kids can have really the greatest experience of their high school career. That's exactly what we want. What that athlete said was what we're aiming for.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling that this Thursday night is going to be pretty electric.
And these kids are superstars, right? Like if this were football or basketball, everyone would know these kids' names. And within our running community, a lot of people do know the names that are going to be on the line already. You know, Gary Martin, Natalie Cook, these are the best high schoolers in the country. And maybe the coolest thing that we do is we've added an athlete introduction area. And so we've got a nice banner, we've got lights, and these kids get a moment to be introduced, to say their name, to tell who they are, right before they race. So we'll embarrass a few of them, but most of them are really excited just to be there. And we're excited to highlight them, even if it is just for a brief second before we get them on the line.
Yeah, that's whew, you're making my job hard as MC. I got to get all these names right. I get ready to go. Whew, I'll be sweating up in that booth. No, this is great. This is cool. Okay, so now we're coming up on the last 4 events. So the way we've always done it at Festival Miles is we always, and this is calculated to show the kind of, it's kind of promoting that idea that, hey, these kids are the future. So we do the girls championship mile and then the women's pro event, which used to be an 800. Now it's a mile. So women's girls championship, women's pro mile, boys championship, men's pro mile. And that's kind of the idea there. So let's talk, let's just go in that order. Let's talk about the high school girls championship mile this year. It's just been one of the best over the last several years. It's been one of the best high school miles in the country, year in and year out. It's sponsored by, let's see here, it's sponsored by Big River Running, so we can talk about that, and then let's talk about the field.
Sure. So sponsors Big River Running. They sponsor both our girls championship mile and our boys championship mile, and they're the running company that you created, and they're a huge part of what we do. The fields are truly national class. So we've got a few kids from all over the country, starting right at the top. Mary Ellen Udaley is coming from Florida. Samantha Humphreys, who's from the powerhouse Flower Mound High School, same place that Natalie Cook is coming from. Allie Entz, who is, I can't remember if she's just a freshman or sophomore, but she's young and out of Illinois. She's run 2:05 for the 800 already and in the mid 440s. So she's really, coming onto the national stage. And then Tatum David and Katarzyna Kwiatkowski from Texas and Illinois, respectively, round out our top 5. All of those ladies have broken 450 already. And like I said, a lot of them are coming from the Midwest, where you really don't start to see great weather for racing until the very end of the spring and early into the summer. So we expect them to duke it out and just for it to be a great race. This is one of the races that I'm most excited about.
Do you know the meet record off the top of your head? Because it seems like it could go down.
It could. I don't know it off the top of my head.
I know it's in the 440s, so we'll just leave it at that. But I know that these ladies are going to take a crack at it. The one of the things I like about it is I kind of hate time trials. So what we've done a good job of, I feel like, at Festival Miles is we create this opportunity to run your personal best and run as fast as you can, and we set up the pacers, but it's still about winning this darn thing. It's really prestigious to win this thing. And of course, after the race, we take the top 3 up, we put them on the podium, we interview the winner in front of the crowd, everybody gets flowers. So it's really cool to win this thing. And I always feel like if you win Festival Miles, you're going to run fast. So you don't really need to worry about the splits. You just need to worry about trying to win the darn thing. And if you do that, even if you don't win, if you battle for the win, you're going to run really, really fast.
Oh, for sure. And I'm looking at the meet record right now, 446. Let's see, 446.67. Stephanie Jenks ran that out of Oklahoma. That's already flying. But yeah, that meet record is definitely in danger.
It is in jeopardy, Tim. I think that is in jeopardy.
I'd be surprised if it doesn't go down. There's no pressure.
You said the W word. You said the W word. So I'll bring it up. I don't want to jinx it. I'm knocking on wood. But talk about the forecast right now. I know you've looked at it.
I've looked at it. I don't want to talk about it, but I will. It looks perfect. It's 75 degrees. There's not a cloud in the sky. It looks like a perfect evening. It'll all go downhill now that I've talked about it, but it looks absolutely perfect, which is pretty typical for Festival Miles weather. I'm guessing you guys picked this move to this date because of what the weather typically is and timing with the state meets, but it's going to be a beautiful night. Awesome. Even if it's not, these kids are so good, it might not matter.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go from the girls to the women. Let's talk about the women's professional mile. Let's talk about the sponsor, and then let's really dig into this thing, because this is a pretty stacked field, but a pretty even field. I think you could see so many different winners in this one.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on who I think is going to win, and I have no idea, because you're right, it is so tight. Our sponsor is Drury Hotels. They give us a number of comped room nights to bring the professional field in. It's huge. We couldn't do this race without them. We couldn't have this level of field without them. So, I'm going to run through the list because I don't want to miss anybody, but Carissa Nelson from Atlanta is coming in.
Former NCAA champion.
Yep. NCAA mile champion. Let's see. And then we have Alexina Tubal. She's a Northern Iowa coach, but she's also sponsored by Tracksmith. She has a PB in the 1500 of 406. She finished very well at the Road Mile Championships in Des Moines about a month ago. Then we also have Hannah Hermanson from Ballard Track Club. She's run 407 for 1500 and is in really good shape. Opened her season at 412 about 6 weeks ago, and then unfortunately battled COVID, but she's feeling much better now and is looking to go faster. Susan Ahore has run 409. She won the second section out at the USATF Distance Classic a few weeks ago. She's with Cascadia Elite. Katie Wasserman is from Hoka NAZ Elite. Do you want to talk about Katie?
Sure. Yeah, Katie's ready to go. Katie was sort of a late bloomer on the NCAA scene. She went to Columbia for undergrad and was a good miler, good 1500 meter runner, and kind of stuck in that zone, or stayed in that zone, I should say. And then when she went to grad school at the University of Notre Dame, Coach Sparks said, "Why haven't you tried the 5,000?" And Katie just said, "I don't know, I'll try it." And so she ran a 5,000. Then she ran another 5,000, and then in her third, which was the regional meet, and then her third 5,000 was the NCAA National Championships, and she finished second place and ran 15:28. So she found out she was pretty good at the 5,000. But we feel like she's pretty darn good at the mile too. Her workouts over the last month, we brought Alan Culpepper on as our new head coach, and she and Alan have really clicked very, very well. Her training is kind of off the charts right now, honestly. She had sort of a, I don't know, maybe you would call it subpar opener for her in the 5,000 a little over a month ago, or about a month ago. But since then, training has been unbelievable. So yeah, we're excited about Katie, and I think she's excited to race a mile since that was her first love.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a huge part of it. You got to be able to run a fast mile, to run a fast 5,000. And your guys' season is so long and stretches so deep into the summer. I mean, I'm sure she's ready to go. Moving down the list, let's see, we've got Jamie Morrissey coming in. She's from Atlanta, 411 personal best in the 1500 and just ran really well a couple of weeks ago. Molly Sugro just ran 407, about 10 days ago in New York.
Tim, you're scaring me. This field is very good.
Oh gosh, it is good. I'll just, to give you some perspective, last year, one of the biggest difficulties that we had was recruiting professionals because of the travel restrictions between different countries and folks not feeling comfortable traveling. And so getting some of the professional women specifically was a little bit challenging. And so it was one of the things that I was worried about again this year, but this field is amazing. So I was worried about nothing, and we're going to have a dynamite race because they're all right there. And we're going to have a great pacer. Stephanie Brown is going to come out, a great runner in her own right, to get these ladies through at least 1,000 and put them on meet record pace. Our meet record is 4:30. Last year was the first year that the women's mile was run. So we're looking for them to go under. Again, our next participant is Alex Lukey. She ran with us last year. She was in our top 5. Her mile PB is 4:35 from our meet last year. Anna Connor from Cascadia Elite and Tracksmith is our next participant. Anna's kind of transitioning from 800 and stretching a little further, kind of like Katie did, just with different events. She's run 4:14 for 1,500, is super strong right now, and feels like she's in shape to set a new personal best at the mile. Natalie Zemas from Very Nice Track Club is coming down. She's got a personal best of 1,500. She's training with Nick Willis up there in that group and is super strong right now. The next name on the list is Katie Follett. Katie's awesome, coming back from being pregnant. We'll see what she's in shape to do, but Katie's got a 4:05 personal best. So
yeah, Katie's been on the world championship team for the US, and
oh my gosh, yeah,
got a long
she's won a
history in the
diamond
sport.
She's won a Diamond League race. Like, she's amazing. So we know she's going to be ready to run. Gina McNamara, who graduated from Michigan a few years ago and runs for Georgetown, had a 4:43 personal best until 2 days ago, and then ran 4:31 on the roads.
Tim, this
So
field is sick.
it's good and it's only getting better. So, I was texting with Gina yesterday. She's super excited to come run. She's excited to be in this field. And who knows, like she might win the darn thing. She's got great 800 speed. So we'll see what happens. Melissa Mangini is a University of Missouri graduate, just finished up her college career, has run 438 indoors, I believe, already. So she's going to be there. She's primarily a steeplechaser, but has great wheels. Yasmin Wright from Wichita State is going to be on our line. She's run 415 in the mid-teens, and is an awesome runner, going to add a lot to our field. And then last but certainly not least, this is the first opportunity that we've had to add a female runner to our women's mile professional field. It's
A high
something
school
that,
female.
yeah, yep, she's a high schooler being added to the professional field. It's Natalie Cook from Flower Mound. It's something that we've done a few times for truly special athletes on the men's side. And we're excited to be able to provide that opportunity for Natalie on Thursday night. Natalie has run 436 already for 1600. And we're excited to see what she can do. I believe the outdoor record for girls high school mile is 432 outdoors, 428 overall. So, she's certainly going to challenge for that given this field.
Okay, I'll make sure the crowd knows about this.
Okay.
And talk about Flower Mound. I guess they're sort of the premier program right now on the female side in at the high school level. Am I right on that? Or at least they're one of the premier programs.
They really are. So going back to the girls championship, Natalie's teammate Samantha Humphreys has already run 445 for 1600. She would be the best runner on just about every other team in the country, but she's a few seconds behind Natalie. We're excited to have both on the line, but then Samantha has a sister who's running fast, and I think they had maybe 6 or 7 girls break 5 minutes just on their team. Andrew Cook is Natalie's dad and one of the coaches. He's done an awesome job with that program. We're excited that they're coming to Festival Miles.
Cool. Oh my gosh. Okay. You have me very excited for the women's mile. This is super.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of storylines, lots of contenders to win, which is what I like. I'm pumped for that one. Let's talk about the high school boys championship mile.
Sure. So the boys championship, also sponsored by Big River Running Company, is loaded. So the top seed in that race is Jackson Heidish. He's coming down from Iowa. He's run 407 on that Drake track already to win the state championship in Iowa. He's really, really good. Tyler Downs is right behind him. Tyler's out of Colorado. He ran 414 at 5,200 feet, which converts to 408 high. So he's coming down to sea level to see what he can do. And then we've got a couple of guys out of Arkansas, Hudson Betts and Dawson Welsh. Both have run 409 already. Their state meet is about a week before the state of Missouri, so they've had a little bit more time to rest up, get healthy, and be on the line and ready to go. And then it's Clay Sheevely from Kansas and Sahil Dota. Both have run 410 already. Tanner Newkirk is right behind them. He's run 410. I mean, this is as good a field as we've ever had in the boys championship at Festival Miles. So 405 is the record there. John Davis, who ran in the professional mile last year, has that record at the moment. We'll see. These boys are going to challenge for it. And John just qualified for his first outdoor NCAA championship. He's run 336. So you can see the kind of progression that a good Festival Miles runner has, and what these boys are going to do on Thursday night, and then the kind of careers that they're likely to have moving forward.
Well, and let's be honest, we get competitive, right? We want to be the fastest high school mile in the country.
We do.
And we have been in the past. We've certainly been right there with a couple of the other all-star meets, going back a long ways now. And like you say, John ran 405. We've had races with multiple kids going under 410. And I'm sure we'll have that again on Thursday night. I did want to pull up those records and just say them all at once real quick. The boys high school mile championship division record is 405, but we've had two high school boys break 4 minutes in the mile at Festival Miles, which were the only meet to have 2 different high school boys do that. Grant Fisher did it ran 3:59 in the pro men's
And who?
mile. Reed Brown did it, ran 3:59 in the pro men's mile in 2017. So Grant in 15 and Reed in 17. And we'll get to another couple of opportunities for that here in a second. But then like you said,
we're not done talking about high schoolers. So.
No, we're not. The girls' high school mile record, as you said, 4:46. The boys' 800 record 1:50, and the girls' 800 record 2:07. Although Caitlin Collier from Florida ran 2:03 in the professional women's 800 in 2017, and Hannah Long a couple of years before that from Missouri had run 2:04 in the professional women's race. So you can see we've had all kinds of fast times. This boys' mile is going to be super, super fast. Do you have an idea of what we're shooting for time-wise in that boys' mile?
Yeah, we're going out in 2:01 to 2:02 in the boys championship mile. St. Louis University High has been a great partner. One of the things that they do is they have a great program and they help provide pacers for that. And so we'll have that race out through at least 800 meters. And then there's enough competition after that to get them the rest of the way around. But I expect them to be in that 4:05, 4:06, 4:07 range at the very least. So we'll get the pacing there for them to be able to do that and give them a shot at breaking that meet record.
Okay, very good. I like it. Let's see some meet records. And last but not least, let's talk about the men's mile. Now,
all right.
This, as we mentioned earlier, this race has a long history going back all the way to the very beginning of the meet in 08 and the 09 race where Leo ran 3:55 has kicked off a decade plus of sub fours. The winner has always been sub four. We've had as many as I think 7 sub fours in one race, a couple of different times.
Yep.
I'm sure Thursday night is going to be really, really fast. The meet record is held by one of our FOM superstars, Hall of Famers, if you will, Jordan McNamara, who was a multiple-time FOM champion. He ran 3:54.27 to win the meet 1 year. I think that could be in jeopardy, but you tell me. Talk about the field, the pacing, the high school aspect. Let's hear the storylines of this year's St. Louis Track Club men's mile.
Yeah, there's so many storylines, but I'll start with the pros because they do have the fastest PBs on record. So Paul Ryan is our best seed time. Paul's run 3:36 for 1,500, 3:57, 51 indoors, but his 1,500 converts significantly faster than that, and he's in great shape and ready to roll. And I would say the second headliner from the professional side is Wesley Kiptoo, one of your athletes. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what kind of shape Wesley's in?
Wesley is in very good shape. So we signed Wesley in March, and he promptly went out at the Pittsburgh Half Marathon in his first ever road race on May 1st and won in 1:01.25, which is our team record and an incredible time on what is actually a pretty difficult half marathon course. Not difficult, but not easy. Since that time, he's been on the track a bunch. He's done a lot of really, really solid workouts. He's done a lot of rhythm work at that 4-minute mile, sub 4-minute mile kind of pace, and it's been very, very smooth. He hasn't moved out to Flagstaff yet. He'll be moving out in a couple of weeks. So all this work he's been doing is in the Midwest, in Ames, Iowa, and then more recently in Kansas, where his wife and 2 kids live. So a lot of windy, nasty days, and yet he's cranking out 58s like nobody's business. So
do I even need a pacer with Wesley in the field? I mean, he's one of them.
Well,
he's an infamous front runner.
We've been working on that. No, I think that Wesley has the ability to win this race for sure. He's actually never gone under 4 minutes, even though he's an NCAA champion at 5,000 meters. He's run,
13:20 for 5,000.
Well, he's run faster than that, I think. Yeah.
Has he really? Okay.
13:14 maybe is his PB indoors.
Yeah.
And then, he's run 27:37 for 10,000. And so he's very, very fast. But the mile hasn't been his best distance, but I would say that we very much believe he can be in it to win it. We're not coming here to lose. He wants to try to win the race. Yeah.
And I think he's absolutely capable of doing it. I mean, I think if you look at like the Daniels equivalents, 13:14 to 13:20 is equivalent of 3:52 for the mile. So he's got the talent for sure. And after Wesley, he's one of our headliners. I think the third headliner is Gary Martin. Gary's the the fastest solo high school miler in a high school field ever. He broke a guy, might have heard of Jim Ryan's record. So we're excited to put him in a professional field and give him a shot to run even faster. He's an amazing, humble kid, and it's an honor to be able to give him this opportunity.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then we've got a couple more high schoolers that you added from Missouri at the last minute, huh?
We did, yeah. So Connor Burns from Southern Boone High School ran 4:02.9 indoors. And at the Missouri State meet, he ran 8:48 by himself on a cold, windy day and broke Matt Teagenkamp's Missouri 3,200-meter record. Connor's been competitive in all of the high school national championship fields, and we felt like he's on the doorstep of breaking 4 minutes. And the best opportunity for him to be able to do that was in the professional field. So we're putting him in. Over the years, we've not been afraid to take a chance. And, Connor's an all-star in Missouri. We're going to give him that chance.
And he's only a junior.
He's only a junior. Connor was in the high school championship field last year and finished 7th, I believe, right about 4:10, and has just continued to get better and better and better since. So he's fit. He ran 2:56 by himself for 1,200 meters the other day in a time trial. That indicates he's ready to go. So we're excited to see what he can do. One of the great things that happened at the Missouri State meet is, Connor's amazing, but he did not win the 1,600, and so he absolutely destroyed the field in the 32. But a kid named Dalen Ackley came back and ran 4:05, which is one of the all-time fastest times that you'll ever see in a Missouri State meet. And he won the 1,600, split 1:57 to close and win that championship. And we felt like he had a shot also. Dalen has not run what Connor has for the full mile, but based on their competitive status, we felt like he had a shot to potentially go under, and at the very least to go improve himself in that kind of field was the right thing to do. So we're putting him in there to see what he's got.
So what is the pacing setup?
Sure. The pacing is going to be fast. So we're looking to bring the professional field through at 2:26 through 1,000. And, one of the reasons that we want to do that is for Paul and Wesley and Gary to be able to go after the meet record. So we feel like if we get them through 1,000 at that pace, they've got a shot to run 3:54, which means a lot of really big things. It breaks our meet record, and it gives Gary particularly a shot to move up the high school national list. So I can't remember exactly where he ranks at 3:57. He might be 5th all time right now, with Alan Webb, Jim Ryan, Colin Salmon, all being ahead of him. We want to give him a shot to move up that list.
And I guess we have to say it, even though we're not trying to put pressure on Gary, that the fans anyway will want to keep an eye, at least just keep an eye on 3:53.43, Alan Webb's national high school record.
Absolutely. Gary is an amazing athlete. He has not been in this kind of field yet. He's been in the best high school fields in the country. He hasn't been in a field quite like this yet. But he's incredibly talented. He knows his ability, and we think he's well-tempered enough to be able to run in this field and do something really special.
So there you have it. We've gone through all the races you can expect to watch, or that you can look forward to, I should say, on Thursday evening at the Hoka Festival of Miles. You can go to stlfestivalmiles.com to preview the races, look at the fields, enter the races, sign up to buy your ticket to donate to Emma Reese, this year's Athlete in Need. We know we have 14 states represented in the high school races. We know people are going to be watching all over the country. Hoka is providing a live stream on runnerspace.com starting at what time on Thursday?
Let's see. They are going to start with the track races. So those races start at, let me get back to my schedule of events here. So that's going to start right around 7:15.
7:15 Central Time on Thursday. You can begin watching the live broadcast on Runner Space, again, for free, provided by Hoka. Hoka's been an amazing partner. We're excited for the Hoka Festival of Miles on Thursday night. Tim Cornell, thank you so much. You've been doing a great job as the race director. The meet is in good hands, and we can't wait to see you on Thursday night.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate the time.
Thanks for listening to the Midday Treat with NAZ Elite. I'm Addison Rosario, Coach Ben's daughter. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NAZ_elite. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter on NAZelite.com and stay tuned for the next episode of the Midday Treat with NAZ Elite.